Exact same. 7-8-1.
You'll love to see it, actually.
I have the same record. 2 weeks in a row. So at least I'm consistent.
I'm improving.
Yeah. Which means
I've had my best week.
next week I'm gonna also be 7-8-1, and you're gonna be.
8,
Oh, I guess you did put your
8-7-1. What does it say? Dolphins twice.
Dolphins.
Nice.
It did not say that it was playing before.
Oh my lord.
I'm tired.
I'm tired as well. Get on it.
Make sure the hair's good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Skip and Sam Show. And what a fun week of football, but what a bad week of picks.
I did better. It was a better week for me, guys. I didn't do that bad.
I did the exact same as last week, and I think the worst part about it all is that we tied.
Why are there so many ties? Like 2 weeks and there's 2 ties. Like there's just I don't even know when the last time.
3 ties.
Thanks.
We got the Steelers and Browns, we got the Vikings and Packers, and now we got Skip and Sam.
We tied. You know what that means, don't you?
We will both be doing the Death Blender.
Oh. You know, I honestly could just say I'm just sad. That's just gonna be tragic. But you know, like you said though, it was an exciting week of football. You know, we had a lot of great games. Like we talked about the tie, the Vikings, the Packers. I mean, it was tragic. I guess you could say this week was the week of missing field goals.
Missing field goals.
I'm pretty sure both the Packers and the Vikings both had like crucial field goal like misses at the end of the game. That was tragic. But the thing about that game that made me the most mad was that the unnecessary roughness call on Clay Matthews. I don't know. I just don't feel like that's the right call. I know the NFL said it was, but it would just look like a clean hit. The ball was still in his hands.
The reason that was called roughing the passer was because he scooped him up and drove him into the ground. That's what the NFL said. But I was watching, I forget what it was, something on ESPN. They said if you go back to Pee Wee football, when you got those tackling dummies, what do they teach you? You scoop them up and you push them into the ground. That is a form tackle from the time that you first put a helmet on.
Yeah, I disagree with that call, but I mean, what can you say? Game's over. It's tied. I mean, I like to see it because they're both in my division. But it is what it is.
Speaking of your division or your team, probably the best game of the weekend was when the 49ers beat the Lions.
Listen, they got lucky. We weren't even in the game at all for the entire game. Then all of a sudden, here comes number 9. He had you a little worried. You had to call Dylan back over to watch it.
Dylan was my good luck charm.
Yeah.
And then when he left, we started going downhill.
That's when Matt Stafford came to play, baby. I don't. The thing that makes me the most mad about that game is how can you call a play or a flag on a holding call that was literally within 5 yards, and on top of it, within 5 yards.
It was 8 yards.
No, it was not. You can even look. Within 5 yards, and then the play was on the opposite side of the field. If you watch Jimmy G on that play, he hikes it, looks right at his receiver, and our guy jumps it for the pick. We would have won that game. How can you make that call? I just don't. I just disagree. I want to see what the NFL has to say because I know Matt Patricia sent that play into the NFL to see it reviewed. I saw something like that on Facebook or something.
Well, what are you going to do now? The game's over. The 49ers 1-1, and the Lions 0-2.
It's all right. I'll be there to see them this Sunday when they get their first victory against the Patriots.
Oh. Is that a teaser?
a little bit. Go Lions, baby.
Well, then, you know what? If we're going to talk about picks, let's get right into the picks.
Sounds good. Thursday Night Football. We got the New York Jets with Sam Darnold and Tyrod Taylor and the Cleveland Browns. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this? They're just going to keep browning.
I'm going with the Browns. I think we're both going with the Browns.
The Browns are going to Browns on us, I bet.
They're still a good team.
Hey, like Colin Cowherd said, they're a kicker away from being 2-0.
Yeah, but...
They just signed a new kicker.
Yeah, but not a good kicker.
They should have got Dan Bailey.
No,
Speaking of Dan Bailey,
wow.
Game 2.
You know what you call that? You know what you call that?
What?
I forget, actually.
I think it's a good transition.
No,
That's
but
what it
it's
is.
called what's that called? Come on, what's it called? Seriously, it's called
I don't know.
You know what you call that? A Segway. That's what it is.
Wow.
It's called a Segway. I figured it out.
This one's an easy pick. Bills, Vikings. We're both
Vikings.
gonna go Vikings.
Vikings, 100%. The next game, we got the Giants taking on the Texans. I'm going to go with the Texans.
Yeah, the O-line for the Giants just does not look great.
Does not look... They got J.J. Watt lining up against them.
Yeah, we're going Texans.
Yikes. Yep, Texans. Let's see, what do we got? We got the Packers taking on the Washington Redskins.
Packers are looking a lot better than I thought. I'm going to go Packers here.
Aaron Rodgers, you don't pick against him.
No, the all-Lord mighty cheesehead Aaron Rodgers.
You don't pick against him. I know I picked against him last week, but that's because he was hurt. But he looks better now, so I'm gonna go with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Discount double check.
This game is interesting, folks. Patty Mahomes looks like the MVP of the league right now. The Chiefs take on the Niners. I'm going with Kansas City and all those weapons they have, dude. They made the Steelers look silly this weekend. I'm going Patty Mahomes. I think he's the real deal. Sam Beal? Sam? Is that real deal? No, sorry. Real deal, Patty Mahomes.
You see, my brain is telling me go with the Chiefs. The Chiefs have so many weapons. It's in Arrowhead Stadium, which is probably one of the toughest places to play. And just the fact that Tyreek Hill, the fact that when Sammy Watkins is your fourth receiving target, that is how you know you have weapons.
That's why I go.
That is how you know. And Patrick Mahomes, like you said, is looking like an MVP out there. So my head is telling me, go with the Chiefs. But my heart will not let me pick against the 49ers. And, really, if you look at the last two games that the Chiefs have had, Patrick Mahomes has been sacked twice, one in each game. The Chargers, Joey Bosa was out. Their pass rush was not that good. And then against the Steelers, Patrick Mahomes had all day in the backfield.
Feels like a field day for him, yeah.
It was too easy for him. And with that 49ers defensive line, really, I know everyone talks about the Rams defensive line. But if you look in that division, they're okay, maybe not right up there. But they got a very, very talented defensive line. DeForest Buckner, he's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if the other three guys on that line are. But I'm going to have to go with the 49ers.
It's not a bad pick. Next game, we got the Raiders and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 2-0, and the Raiders are 0-2. And I know, Griffin, I know you're watching, and I told you I'd go with the Raiders. But listen, it's in Miami, and it's so hard to pick. They look good. They look good through two games, and I'm going with the Dolphins. I think Ryan Tannehill's on a mission. I'm going with the Dolphins here.
Well, Griffin, I got you, man. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I keep picking them, and they keep failing me. So, Raiders, this is your last chance. Get it together and win this game. Prove to me.
You have picked them all 3 weeks.
All 3 weeks, and they've let me down. So, prove to me that I can keep picking you. I trust you, Raiders. The next game, we have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the returning Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
We don't have Dylan here this week.
I mean, yeah, I've done. I have to do that every week for him. I'm going to Eagles here. I think Carson Wentz is gonna come back even better. Even better.
I don't know if he's gonna come back even better. I think this is a good game for him to come back because the Colts defense isn't very good. So he is able to make mistakes in this game. So he can get back into game mode because practice speed is nothing like game speed, and you can't simulate a game no matter how hard you try and practice. So getting him out there, this is a good warm-up for him, I guess, if you want to call it. And I think he will get it done. I don't think he'll look great, and everyone's going to be like, oh, he's the worst quarterback ever. But just give him time. He'll get back. He'll get back to where he was, and he's going to win this game. Eagles.
I think this one's a pretty easy one. As much as I hate the quarterback for this team, I think they're going to win. I think he's terrible. It's the Titans versus the
Talking about Mariota?
No, Mariota's hurt. He ain't even
I know.
I'm talking about Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles.
If he was even like...
He looked he looked like an actual quarterback last week.
Against yeah, no, you're all right.
He looked all right against the Patriots.
We'll go Jaguars. I think we're both going.
I'm going
Jaguars.
Jaguars. You got to go with them.
This is, to me, the next game is the toughest game to pick. Is the Bengals taking on the Panthers? Bengals are 2-0 right now. They're looking good. AJ Green is a monster. I think he's arguably one of the best. I think he is arguably the best receiver. I think you can argue it. I mean,
This year?
right now, he's either one or two easily. And by that fact, I'm going Bengals. It's tough, but I'm going Bengals. Gotta pick against Luke Combs there. That hurts. That one cuts me deep.
Luke Combs, like you said, he started turning his back on Griffin. Now he's turning his back on Luke Combs. Luke, I'll pick with you. I'm going with the Panthers here. Panthers, they're just always consistently good. Always a good team to go with. So I'm going to go with the Panthers. Next game, we have the Broncos taking on the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going with the Denver Broncos here. They are 2-0. 2-0.
Yeah, they beat the Seahawks, didn't they?
Yeah, well, that's because the Seahawks aren't good.
Oh, yeah, they beat
They
the
are
Seahawks and they
2-0, and
They helped me tie last week.
they did help you tie. I think this is the first time I'm picking the Broncos, but, I mean, Von Miller is a defensive monster. Got to go with...
He is an animal. I wouldn't be surprised if he had 2 or 3 sacks this game. I think I'm gonna go with the hometown Baltimore Ravens. I'm gonna go Joe Flacco here. I think they're gonna win this game. They were my dark horse at the beginning of the year, and I'm gonna pick them here. It's tough. That's another tough game because I've always picked Broncos too. I picked Broncos.
Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons. My Super Bowl team versus your Super Bowl team.
I think it's pretty safe to say that we know who we're each picking. I'm going Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Julio Jones is gonna go off.
And I'm going Drew Brees and the Saints.
You know that's gonna be